corporate sector, you have the central bank. What does the central bank do? What does the central bank in this sector? Regulatory. Customs. What do they do? Collect the money. First, they said they are trade facilitator, but they are trade money, trade tariff connected. Federal Ministry of Finance, what do they do? They are what? They are actually the one that supervises us. So when Ministry of Finance come up with a fiscal policy that involve, let's say, a tariff, they are the one that supervise us. They are the one they are the one. If customs are going to implement anything, because the chairman of customs is Federal Minister of Finance. So Minister of Finance is the chairman of the Board of Customs. Of course, no, it's the chairman. It's not the chairman. It's the chairman. So it's able to help them. So they are the one that implement. Federal Minister of Finance actually, anytime there's a fiscal policy that has to do with, oh, we're increasing duty or we're reducing duty, that comes from them. But Ministry of Trade is the one that takes it to the Federal Executive Council that will make Ministry of Finance to implement through customs. Does that make sense? So let's say man feels there is this raw material, we need it to reduce tariff. They make a case through man, Nasima, to Ministry of Trade. Ministry of Trade make the case and the Federal Executive Council. If it's approved, Ministry of Finance will implement the policy, Ministry of Finance will have a policy for custom to what? Implement. Now that already right. Now that's on regulatory agency for food and drugs. NDLS is an MPF. NDLS for drug, SS for police is for others. For customs to SS is concerned about when people bring in ammunition into the country. They do inspection alongside with customs for import. NPA, the landlord of the port, NIMASA, they protect the waterways. Shippers Council. If an importer has an issue with the shipping line, Shippers Council should be a mediator to resolve the issue. Nigerian importer are also a stakeholder, and you guys are also a stakeholder. On the export side, we have central bank again as regulator, customs also for clearance, MPA again, NIMASA, Nigerian Shippers Council, NDLA, SSS, Nigerian Promotion Council issuing the export license, authorized dealer bank, shipping line and forwarding agent, SON and NAFDAC, Nigerian exporter, and the pre-shipment inspection agent. All of them have one role or the other. Look at Nigerian export in 2023. Do you know something about this import salary? Do you know something about the import? You expect this to reduce now, right? Is it going to reduce? With the way NMDC is behaving. Okay, Kiari has left. Maybe it will reduce now. Is it not funny? Nigeria does not have forests. We need to conserve our forests to help develop our naira. We have a refinery that will take up all our needs for we are saying, does it make sense? That's when they say, the reason for petrol scarcity is refinery is a lie. Now we have refinery. Because some people are benefiting from the corruption before. And the kind of way corruption they do to import, they can't do it without Dangote. So they need to continue to import. Even though they have shares in Dangote refinery. Can you imagine that? They have shares in Dangote refinery and they will not contribute that refinery for profitability. Does it make sense? Corruption makes people to do dumb things. Does it make sense? But that's the country we're in. Look at Latin shares, 95% out of $68.4 billion import. Look at what are we importing? PMS, major term. This is last year now. Gas oil, wheat. I used to be spending about, let me tell you the story of wheat. Wheat is a very interesting one for me, and the reason is because Nigeria can produce wheat, but Nigeria will not produce wheat because of the United States. The United States says producing wheat in Nigeria affects our national security. Because the majority of Nigerian imported wheat are from the US and South America, like Brazil. And they will not allow us to produce wheat. So, government policy, government can do rice, because that's Thailand. What does Thailand do for Nigeria? Because we can do any other thing. But you see that wheat? Look at how much we are spending. About a billion. Last year, about a billion. This is MBS data. Cane, sugar, butane, used vehicles, machine for reception, conversion, and transmission of voice and video. Other medicament drugs, polypropylene, this also reducing, this will go down more because of Dangote. Motorcycles fitted for auxiliary or motor petrol fuel. Export, Nigerian export, 61 billion. Yeah. Gas and oil. Okay, yes. 61 billion. 61 billion. But can you see oil and gas? But look at, you know what I've done? You see all these ones? Is what is expanded here. Can you see it now? Mm-hmm. You see this gold? You will see this in MBS. You know why you don't see in MBS? They use helicopter to ferry it out of Nigeria. They use helicopter to ferry it out of Nigeria. So government does not have the actual data. This one is from outside Nigeria, it's not of Nigeria. You can't get accurate report to ferry it out of Nigeria. Because the country is going, they will record it. Something can get from the country is going. But it's not the country living Nigeria. Because a lot of generals are in this business. Yes, now. Do you know why we have insecurity? The day any president that wants to solve insecurity was ready to die. Now, I'm serious. The president Nigeria that will solve insecurity problem was ready to die. If he's not ready to die, he won't solve it. Because they will come after him and his family and everything. Why? Because they are making billions from minerals in Nigeria every year. They have enough money to buy weapons and fight you. So they go into a village where there is minerals, they will sack people. They call them bandits. Nah, lie. Sack the people and begin to mine Nigeria away. Start mining Nigeria. Without no license, nothing. You bring in the Chinese mine protected by bandits, I mean, whatever you call it. So the reason why you see people being displaced from their ancestral home is because there is minerals in their land and they want it and they chase the people away. They will come back to their land again. Now that's also in the midst of cattle, and cattle. But that's just part of that one can easily be resolved because of the state will fix it. But this one to be tough, very, very. Even the minister of mines have said it threatened him. When he came here and he was trying to find it, they threatened him. Yes, now they threatened him. Why? So, and gold is a major part of that. Apart from gold, Dangote is increasing our fertilizer. Apart from chemical in production, another producer, electronic chemical, we have more beans. So, you see these two products are major contributors to export. Last year, non-export was about $5.4 billion, and it increased by about 20% from 2020 to 2024, and this to a major contributor to it. This one, not because we exported more, this one we exported more, but this one we export more. What happened here is because the price of cocoa went up. What happened on export desk? Export desk people. Please get up your hand now. I want to ask a question to know the answer. Don't be afraid. I wanted to, if you notice, the price of cocoa 2 years ago, and the price of cocoa, you've seen a lot of increase in the price. That's what contributed to the export volume. So we export after last year petrol oil, petroleum products, crude oil, they're not oil, gas, they're not oil products, cocoa, urea, float submersible for drilling platform, sesame seed, other refined gas, aluminum alloy, and so many others. Import-export volume last year, from 2021 to 2024, you can see that export is growing. Export is growing. Export is always more than import. And the reason why is because of the crude oil price. But I want to look at the non-oil. Non-oil. You see the oil, non-oil. Can you see? Can you see the oil? Can you see the gap? Yes. And then the trend for their contribution. The contribution of non-oil last year was 11%. And this is not good for Nigeria. The implication of this is the reason why when there is an issue with oil price, everybody is afraid. Can see it, right? Everybody is afraid. When there is increased oil price, because the majority of our FX is coming from what? Crude oil. Now, we benchmark for budget. Benchmark at $75 per barrel. Now, it's back around 60, probably going below $60 per barrel. What's the implication? Even if we are exporting the same volume, we are going to be getting lesser process. Lesser process. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh no, you know, where Nigeria is, when a new government comes in, they want to paint the old one black. So everybody, they're not to paint the Mayfield black, and they throw away the very with black water. He has his issues, but there are things he did also that were good. Because that RT 200 was actually helping to contribute to. In fact, I have people who were not the participants that started the participants because of RT 200. But they stopped. Now, you know what they are doing now? It's funny. It's just funny the way we did. Now, CBN sent a survey round. So we got a survey, a physical paper. They have sent a survey questionnaire to all exporters and trying to ask for what can be done to grow. So now, based on that survey they are sent to all exporters across the country, a staff of CBN brought it straight to our office. We filled it, he came to pick it up. And they did that round. They analyze that data to decide. But someone has already decided. So they are going to arrive at what someone has done, that you stop. And I was saying then that, okay, there are 5 points in that program. Can you just stop? Maybe one, the other ones, maybe the one on finance, which you don't want to be doing again. But something that will encourage, that will help you, because you need to increase managerial reserve, right? Yeah. You want to do everything to ensure that reserve grow. But they stopped the thing. So, I mean, we definitely need policies to encourage non-oil exports in Nigeria. In fact, we need policies to increase the number of exporters. You see all these exports I showed you now? Do you know how many people that are doing this exporter in Nigeria? Guess the number of exporters in Nigeria. Just guess. No, first of all, let's guess importer. Number of importers. Don't tell me 1 million, they don't 1 million. And don't tell me 100,000, they don't 100,000. Give me number of importers in Nigeria. Importers. I'm not talking about people doing by L. I'm talking about people doing for men. Yes, how many? I know there are many. How many? Importers. Just give a figure now. More than 5,000.
There are more than 5,000.
Close to that. Between 30 and 50,000 according to figures. Now, guess export. I deliberately tell you import so that you can tell me export. Where export?
2,000.
You are not so bad. We are now up to 2,000.
Maybe 1,000.
Like 15% of 1.5.
Maybe 1,200. About, according to NPC, 1,200. So, I like that. I put a month. For 12 months. I'm basically saying that we don't have enough exporters. We need more businesses doing export in Nigeria. Which is why I said, as a bank, you can do it. And what you should do is to encourage your customer to do export. Who are importers? A number of them have closed shop because they have issues with forex. They are not profitable again. But you can encourage them because an importer is partly ready for export. Am I making sense? Yes. An importer is partly ready. In fact, if I'm an importer of battery, I can export lead ore to my producer who is producing battery I'm importing. That means I can actually partner with my supplier and can be doing both ways straight. Yes. And the beauty is that I know him already, so it's easy for me to agree with him whether I'm probably between factory also. So at the end of the day, I will be able to get forex. It will also increase their trade transaction. But we need you to organize programs to educate your customer, train your customer, support them to do export, and they will become loyal to you by the way. Go ahead. Okay, let's move on. Commodity trade in the world is 5 trillion. Out of the 24 trillion, 5 trillion commodity trade. All the commodity, from petroleum products to precious stone to base metal to animal products, 5.3 trillion. Africa has 30% of the world mineral reserve. But Africa is the poorest continent because of bad leaders. All the rare earth metals that is creating problems between US and China. China has a lot of rare earth metals and they export to the US. US produce chips, semiconductors that is needed to drive the AI technology. So US is holding back on supplying China through NVIDIA those microchips and semiconductors. China said we're not going to send the mineral to you. So why do you think Ukraine, Trump was desperate to sign a deal with Ukraine? It's because the rare metal in Ukraine. So they can be mining themselves and be able to supply because China is telling them, then you don't want to sell to us. Nvidia has to go to China to go and have an agreement with them. There is a particular type of semiconductor that the law said they should not sell to China. So they want to develop, they design a new one. You know, it's a matter of nomenclature now. They came up with a new variant that is not on the list of the law to be able to still sell to China. And China is responding to this. Rare earth metals. And there are so many of these in Africa. If Africa is going to grow export, this is what we should focus on. Not just value addition. Primary product, can you see the level? But intermediate product will be cocoa to cocoa butter, lead to lead ingot, shea to shea butter, intermediate product for factory use, then consumer goods. But you notice intermediate consumer and capital are the manufacturing, and you can see primary goods are agriculture and natural resources. So you can see the reason why we need to be here. But I think we can do a lot within this space. Biggest importer in the world, US, followed by China. Biggest exporter in the world, China, followed by, so you can see this driver, right? You can see the driver. Can you see, hold on, can you see Netherlands? No, you can't see Africa here. Where is Africa? Africa is not showing. Look at Netherlands now. 935 billion. African export. The whole of Netherlands production, export is more than the whole of Africa, almost times 2. Africa is not showing. It's not just Africa. Can you see Africa? I can't see.
Nigeria.
Why are you measuring Nigeria? World supply. Can you see how China emerged from 2000? See where they emerged. Can you see? See where they went in 2000? See where they are. Very deliberate 23 years. And see what they have achieved. See what they have achieved. Wow. Global GDP in 150 years. UK, the big boy, now struggling. China, the small boy, now the big boy. US is still flexing money. Germany shrank, but now not doing badly at Japan. So global GDP, I'm sure you will see Africa here. Can you see us in one corner there? Because it's GDP, it's not export. Can you see us in one corner there? China 19.5 trillion. US 30 trillion. These are the people doing business. In 2050, look at the projection. Nigeria in 2050, where is Africa again? No, Africa is there. No, Africa must be here.
Are you looking for Africa?
See, Nigeria is there now. 2050, Nigeria is projected to be 3.4 trillion. 2050. I hope we can achieve it. I hope we can achieve it. I hope we are going. But look at what is interesting in 2050 based on projection. US is going to be 37, China is going to be 41. And that's exactly what Trump is against. They are planning 20-year game. That's what Trump is against. US 10 partners. This is why Mexico, Canada, and China. Can you see their exposure to the US? That's why they are the most affected. See their exposure to the US. China alone, almost 500 billion. Mexico, almost 500 billion. Canada, over 400 billion. And this is basically showing how much job is affected by this issue. This is total export for Canada, for example, and this is the job. This is the number of jobs supported. Mexico, number of jobs supported. US job supported. By virtue of that, import from those countries. BRICS is trying to eliminate dollar, right? But dollar is currently 49%, followed by euro 21%. They want to reduce it because when you sanction a nation, they can say you must not touch dollar. And that means you won't be able to do trade transactions. So they are trying to create alternative currency. Do you know there is alternative to SWIFT now in China by Russia? Everybody is trying to create alternative because they are weaponizing SWIFT also against everybody. So they will yank them off the global economy.
Watch out for the next part of this training on our YouTube channels,
Voice of African Trade or Global Trade College.